Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out getgoodracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers, from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts, who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back. The season opener here at League Zero Inca Salsa Super Formula Series. It's Season 10, Round 1 at Barcelona. I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Bring the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As we get ready to send these drivers out on track, let's run through the grid here. On pole, Jaden Calloway starting in the number 1 spot. Elliot Cotti starting 2nd. Ray Aguilar starts 3rd. Kyle Deckard starting 4th. Michael Fairchild starting 5th. Craig Brick starting 6th. Antonio Bianchi starting 7th. Shazi Zuhair starting 8th. Nick Peterson starts 9th. Jace Meyer starting 10th. Carl Hartwell starting 11th. We've got Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starting 12th. Cycling on back, Peter Rettinger starting 13th. Eric Fox starting 14th. David Iezzi starting 15th. Jacob Bramley starting 16th. Matthew Balsall starting 17th. Matt Foster starting 18th. Kyle Oliveira Bastos starting 19th. Brian Dawson starting 20th. Leo Dalma starting 21st. Arturo Mayorga starting 22nd. Eric Guillory starts 23rd. Evan Alexander starts 24th. And that will round out the grid here today. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors this season. Inca Salsa coming on board as a title sponsor. We've got MSR Sports Car Performance coming on as well as Get Good Racing, where you can get coaching. Looks like 3 drivers not on the grid. Craig Brick, Eric Fox, Eric Guillory, all starting from pit road. And we're already going to go 3 wide here. I think that was Kyle Deckard squeezed in the middle of the number 53 machine. No, that was Antonio Bianchi with a big send up the middle. Callaway up front, accompanied by his fellow Englishman, Eric Cotti. Elliott already on the push to pass. Aguilar sitting in 3rd. Aguilar is our champ coming into this season, sporting the number 1 plate. If we go a little bit further back, you've got Jace Meyer, Nick Peterson, wheel to wheel here. Loving the new liveries we're seeing out of these drivers. As I just saw Xavier Zanave making a pass against Carl Hartwell. Hartwell's going to fire back here, though, the number 79. And I'm seeing some off-tracks reported up ahead. It looked like it was Fairchild Zuhair Peterson maybe dipping some tires off into the grass. I'm looking for a big send here from Leo Dalmas, the number 21. He's up 9 spots so far here tonight. Problems up ahead. It's Kyle Deckard finds himself pointing the wrong way off the track surface. Let's see what happened to Deckard, I wonder. Looks like he just loses the back end, slides it around. Thankfully, no other drivers impacted with that incident. As we have broken something up here in the broadcast booth somehow, some way. Oh, goodness. So we're going to try and get live timing fixed right now as Callaway's still out front in this sprint. And then we will hopefully be able to pull up the action rather quickly here as the camera stays focused in on Callaway. Looks like we're good to go here. as Callaway continues up front. If we go back to Nick Peterson, he's keeping the pressure on Shazi Zuhair. And as this show is underway, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device, and if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. Eric Fox, Craig Brick in a battle here for 17th. Fox is down 3 spots from where he started. Brick had a rough start. He's down, looks to be 11 spots so far. Jaden Callaway charging forward up front. Ray Aguilar has moved his way into second against Elliot Cotti, the number 23. Now, before today's main event, Elliot was letting us know he had some sort of hardware issues coming into the night. I believe he said his paddles fell off the wheel, which I'm not much of a driver, but usually that is not a good sign for anybody. Greg Brick making another pass, this time against Oliveira Bastos, moving up Brick into the 15th place position. Seeing a big off-track reported ahead. Antonio Bianchi, the number 17, has issues. There goes Michael Fairchild. Now Shazi Zuhair is going to be within striking distance of a top 5. Zuhair pulls up alongside Bianchi on the push to pass. So Zuhair, that's going to be his 3rd spot gain, moving that number 10 up into a top 5. Matthew Balcells running 14th. He's getting chased by Craig Brick. Brick trying to make a move here after that rough start. He's still down 9 spots. Has a big run here against the 52 machine. Now this is our sprint race to fire off the night. It is 14 laps or 30 minutes. And then we'll have a brief intermission and then send them right back out on track for the feature. Also saw a little bit of action. 2 Frenchmen side by side. Leo Delmas, Xavier Zanave. The 2 teammates. Delmas is going to grab his 12th spot, moving up into 9th. Zanave going to fall back to 10th, but Zanave still up 2 spots from where he qualified as well, so having a good run here. Saw a little bit of smoke up ahead. I wonder if that was Jace Meyer. I think it was the number 20. We got Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie, joined us up here in the spectator area for the League Zero, sponsored by Inca Salsa broadcast. We check back up front. Jaden Callaway, the 37 machine, had pace last season but wasn't able to secure the championship back-to-back due to some very unfortunate starting conditions in Season 9. So good to see Callaway back out on track, running extremely well here. And if we go back, it looks to be a 4-car battle for the 14th place spot. Foster, Fox, Deckard, Balcells, all running nose to tail here in the case of Deckard and Fox side by side. Fox is going to back out of it here in the 33. Fox running a Red Bull livery, so I wonder if that means he's going to be a more exciting driver out on track this season. Historically, those who run Red Bull liveries often find themselves in precarious positions. Sorry for the clickety-clackety in the background, as I was trying to get confirmation from one of our fans here. But I think we're good to go here now, so you won't hear that again. Yeah, Callaway, way up front. We've got Ricky Espino joined us as well. Ricardo joined us in the spectator area. Ray Aguilar just clicked off the fastest lap of the race on 120, or excuse me, his fastest lap of the race on 122.15. Early on, Callaway clicked off a 121.89. We've got Tyler Henrich joining us as well. He's kind of sort of cheering on Antonio Bianchi, that number 17, who's currently running 6th out on the circuit. Now the top 6, top 7, very spread out here. Nobody in the top 7 is within a second of each other at this point. It seems the party is really from about 15th place back with Foster, Fox, and Balcells. Looks like Arturo Mayorga also getting the fix in the mix here as well, as he's running 18th on track. I've got to say, for a season opener sprint race, a little bit calmer than I was expecting from these drivers. You can tell everybody's been putting in work in the offseason. We had 24 drivers start, excuse me, we had 22 drivers take the grid. Bramley and Alexander, unfortunately, were a DNS. Oliveira Bastos and David Iezzi both retiring early here, as the rule is if you take a tow during one of the events here at the Inca Salsa League Zero Formula Series, you are done and out of that one, not able to rejoin. Up front, Jaden Callaway again clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 121.75, a full 3.5 seconds up over Ray Aguilar. Callaway absolutely checking out here. The two closest drivers we have out on track are going to be Meyer sitting in 8th and Leo Delmas sitting in 9th. Delmas, our hard charger, he's up 12 spots so far here this evening and is closing the gap to Meyer in the orange and white number 20 machine. And unfortunately, Meyer's going to give it to the two French teammates, Delmas and Zanave, sliding through. There goes Carl Hartwell. And Peter Rettinger's also going to grab a position here. Good to see so many drivers as well as fans coming out for the season opener. And great racing everywhere we look. Foster getting pressure from Fox in the 33. Fox has a big run here. Is he going to be able to do anything with it, I wonder? He's on the outside line, so Foster's going to try the inside line. Looks like no, there's netcode, and around goes Foster. Through what I would say, no fault of either driver. So watch this. Let's see if we can get a nice tight angle here. It looked like netcode where the drivers didn't actually touch. Even if there was netcode, I'd say they were going to touch. So unfortunately, Foster's going to fall back to 18th, his original starting position. Hartwell gained some ground over Rettinger and Meyer. Callaway again the fastest lap of the race. He is ripping out front, the 37. And I think Leo Delmas, the number 21, may have just had connection issues. It shows him dropping from the racetrack. Yeah, Delmas, I think, has disconnected from the race, unfortunately, the number 21. So that will leave his teammate, Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, by his lonesome in the 8th place position. Rettinger, Meyer, Brick. A few of our closest drivers, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Meyer trying to close the gap to get into the top 10 here. But he's got a lot of pressure from Craig Brick, sporting the number 7. It looked like Brick was going to take a big sin there up the inside line of Meyer. Thought better of it. Tries it again, and looks like Meyer makes the pass there against Rettinger. So now Craig Brick is going to try and get around the Austrian. A huge send up the inside line. A big lock up there from Brick. But may have been worth putting the extra heat in the tire. No, Rettinger fires right back. Callaway again the fastest lap of the race. Oh, Brick takes a little bit of a move there to avoid getting to the back of Rettinger. He's going to take over the 11th place spot. But Meyer has been able to put a 1.3 second gap over these two drivers. 3 laps left to go here in the sprint. And again, then we'll have a podium celebration, a brief intermission, send him right back out on track for the feature. And Rettinger having problems here is now Kyle Deckard closing the gap in the 53 behind the Austrian, the 44. Oh, both drivers a little bit of a lockup there, so Decker's not going to have too much of an advantage trying to track down Rettinger. Michael Fairchild, who is sitting in 4th, has issues. There goes his teammate, Shazi Zuhair. And now Antonio Bianchi is going to try and close the gap behind. Now, a lot of these drivers have championships on the forefront of their minds. Bianchi, Fairchild now battling for 5th are going to be 2 great examples of that. Fairchild moves over a little bit to try and guard the inside line. They're wheel to wheel, maybe a little bit of contact there. Fairchild has the preferred line here, but Bianchi's got a little bit more speed. Looks for an opening, can't quite find it against Fairchild. Matthew Balcells, the number 15 machine, is going to have a big crash. He comes down pit road, takes a tow back down pit road. Let's see what happened to the pilot of the number 52 machine. I believe this is his debut here at the League Zero Inca Salsa Formula Series. Just loses the back end and crunches the nose. Brian Dawson in that same frame also had an incident, just losing the front. Thankfully, no big impact, so he'll be able to rejoin the field here. We've got Fairchild sitting in 5th, but something has happened to Ray Aguilar. He loses a spot to Elliot Cotti, a relative newcomer in the 23. I think Aguilar... Check this out. So we know Brian Dawson had an incident. What happened to Aguilar? Oh, that's exactly what it was. Big evasive maneuvers there to avoid drivers spun out. Puts Aguilar back into 3rd, his original qualifying spot. Now the white flag will be out this time by, as we just saw Elliott, a bit of a lockup there. That's going to be re-encouraging to Aguilar because Callaway checked out 8 seconds up over the rest of the field. Let's go a little bit further back. Meyer, and that's going to be Deckard side by side for 11th. Oh, narrowly avoiding contact there as Meyer takes over the 11th place spot. Jaden Calloway approaches the start-finish line, getting ready for that white flag to fly here at Barcelona. And again, Calloway, the fastest lap of the race. I think he can get down to a high 120 by the end of the feature event with how fast Calloway's been moving. Deckard and Meyer continue to having their battle for 11th. That has allowed Craig Brick in the 10th place spot to gain about a second advantage as they are throwing some haymakers behind Brick. Fairchild doing everything he can to catch up to his teammate Shazi Zuhair. Antonio Bianchi keeping Fairchild within striking distance as Bianchi really wants the top 5 to start off the season here. Carl Hartwell getting a whole lot of love from the fans at number 79. Hartwell is up 2 spots within the top 10. Let's pan over to Hartwell, who has Craig Brick closing up behind. Deckard and Meyer also not too far out of frame here. And Calloway absolutely ripping, picks up the first win of the season here. The League Zero Super Formula Series sponsored by Inca Salsa. And Calloway's going to do it in demanding fashion. Elliott Cott will bring it home in second. And Ray Aguilar will round out the top 3. We're going to get those top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. Carl Hartwell was able to hold on to 9th, a quarter of a second advantage over Craig Brick. As more and more drivers cross the start-finish line here. What a solid start to the season from all these drivers. Looks like everybody's here. We're going to start things off with Ray Aguilar sporting the number 1 this season. Aguilar, the defending champ, and a clean race car to start the race season off. I know you had a close call there at one moment.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't get any notifications. My spotter didn't say anything, and all of a sudden, bam, there's a guy right in front of the track on me. You know what? This is a good time to check. I bet you my spotter's turned off.
Now would be a great time to check now that you've got the sprint race out of the way. So,
yeah, the enable spotter button probably should be on, shouldn't it? Yeah.
A rookie move by Aguilar, but hey, a great save there as you had a driver trying to get off the track after a spin right ahead of you. So I know that was hair-raising, but and I know you pretty well. I know you're not pumped about a third, but you've got to be happy that there was nothing worse that came out of that.
Yeah, at least I made it to the end, and I wanted my debut in the Squid Gang team to be a win on the sprint race here, but there's always the feature. We'll try harder on there. I think I'll find some time going into that session. Track's changing, got some new data coming in, so it's gonna be a good season. We got a great show going on. We got a bunch of new fast faces around here, so this is gonna be an awesome year.
Now, Ray, starting third in the feature, what's going to be the strategy going out on track here for the first feature of the season?
I'm going to keep it pinned all the way to turn 1 and then brake. That's my new feature race strategy.
It seems reasonable to me. So, Ray, we'll let you go and grab a glass of water before the feature. But before we do, who do you want to give a shout to that helped push on the podium the first race of the season?
Squid Gang Racing, my mentor and friend Fabian for helping us get through the race engineer part of this, and my teammate Jaden for pulling in a win, man. He did a great job.
Awesome, Ray. Good to have you up here for the first time. Hopefully one of many more to come.
Yep. Thanks, James.
That was Aguilar bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Elliott join us in the second place spot. Elliott, we know you had hardware issues coming into this opening night, but looks like things held together with the gaffer tape for you.
Yeah, just about. The little front panel on the handle of my wheel, it snapped off in practice. So
that's the wrong way. So Elliot,
Yeah.
how are you going to be able to overcome those physical challenges coming into the feature event?
More gaffer tape, pretty much.
Oh, we need to pick you up a sponsorship or something, but still have to be pretty happy with fighting adversity as still a very strong second place to start the season off.
Yeah, I mean, the pace isn't there really to win today. You know, Barcelona is not my strongest track, but still hopefully get second.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, plenty of points to your name to start things off, so you got to be happy. What's the strategy? What's the plan going to the feature? Are you going to try and latch on to Callaway and keep Aguilar at bay, or is it just kind of hold it wide and see what happens?
Plan is overtake Callaway first corner, hold him off for the rest of the race.
Oh, you only got 28 laps to make it happen, so we'll definitely be watching along, and that's going to be a bunch of fun. Elliot, cool to have you up here in the podium, the first race to kick things off. You ran very well last season. Before I let you go, get ready for the feature. Who do you want to give a shout-out to that helped make it happen here?
Salvador, again, he's going to get a shout-out in every podium that I get, so just him tonight.
Well, awesome. Elliot, a pleasure as always, bud, and hope to have you up here a bunch throughout the season.
Yeah, cheers.
That was Elliot joining us in the second place spot. But up next, one Mr. Jaden Callaway repping the 37 this season. But man, Jaden starting the season off right and a stacked team with you here this year.
Yeah, definitely a way better way to start the season than I went last season. So I'm happy with it. Ray got a bit unlucky on a couple laps before the end, but still a good way to start 1-3 for the first race.
Now, Jaden, after last season, all the contact that we saw between you and Aguilar, did you bring him onto Squid Gang Racing just so he wouldn't rear end you this season?
I'm not going to say. We're going to be a really good team together. Both of us are pretty quick usually, but I'm not going to reveal my ulterior motives.
Yeah, I know, it's all right. We figured it out pretty quick up here in the booth. But Jaden, always championship oriented, and you kind of hit on it already. Last season was a really rough start, and then the momentum picked up. So how encouraging is it for you to pick up the first sprint win of the season here?
Yeah, it's definitely really encouraging. I think this is my first time winning a season opener, so I'm really happy about it. And hopefully I can just carry this momentum throughout the season.
Now, I know you're going to try and make it back-to-back in the feature. It seemed like as soon as you got clean air, you were absolutely gone from the rest of the field. Is that going to be the same strategy? And if so, how do you protect the car the first few corners?
It is really just going to be about not overheating the rears. The front tires can take some punishment here, but if you overheat the rears early on in the race, it's just really slimy and hard to drive. So we just need to manage that. And if I can manage my temps, I'll be good.
Jane, we're looking forward to another great season. That 37 was absolutely ripping here at Barcelona. Before I let you go, get ready for the feature. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps put you in the top spot?
I'm gonna shout out AJ. He's not here tonight, but he got married last weekend, and he's currently in Barcelona in real life, so I'm gonna shout him out.
Well, we'll look for him out there in the stands. Jaden, always a pleasure, buddy, and best of luck in the feature.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Callaway bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Elliot Cotti and Ray Aguilar in the top three. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action here at the League Zero Inca Salsa Super Formula Series. Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let it go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham is the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 to lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out getgoodracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together.
All right, race fans, we are back. The first feature event of the season here at League Zero. We're going to line them up. I want to give a tip of the hat here to Jace Meyer, who was racing through sickness on that one, the number 20 machine. He'll be starting 15th in the feature. So big tip of the hat to Meyer, who's going to grid up again for the feature here. That's pretty metal, as we say up here in the broadcast booth. So in the feature event, we've got twice the laps, twice the action. 28 laps on the board here at Barcelona. Drivers will have to take mandatory tires at some point throughout the race, as these super formulas cannot be refueled midway through an event. The rules are you cannot take your tires on the opening lap, and you cannot take your tires on the final lap. So it allows a little bit of alternative strategy. Like Eric Fox is going to start from pit road. Eric Guillory, Jacob Brantley, and Evan Alexander are going to be DNSs for this one. And the lights are off, and we are underway. Elliott quick to hop in behind Callaway. You heard him in the main event. Elliott's already on the push to pass. Is going to make a big send up into turn one. His plan was to get in front of Callaway and then try and keep Callaway at bay. Ray Aguilar's going to get around his teammate. Move it up into second. Callaway fires back. There's Michael Fairchild, the 88 machine, sitting in fourth. Antonio Bianchi rounds out the top five. But let's see, does Elliott have the pace to carry? And is Callaway and Aguilar, the Squid Gang Racing teammates, going to try and press the issue, or are they going to be happy following along behind the 23, building up a gap, and then try and take over the race lead on strategy? Right now it's Conti, Callaway, Aguilar, Fairchild, Bianchi, your top 5. Not sure how Leo Delmas shows up 10 positions already here. Delmas had those connection issues in the sprint. Is taking no prisoners here at Barcelona. Has already moved up to 10th after starting 20th for this one. And we've got problems up front. Elliott Conti, a huge off track, is going to lose 2 spots here. 1 to Callaway, 1 to Aguilar. And it looks like Fairchild's going to press the issue here. Elliott was on the ragged edge off the start. Thankfully, Callaway and Aguilar did not make any contact there. Conti and Fairchild side by side. Bianchi looking for an opening as those two battling for third are punching a massive hole in the air here. Callaway up front. This spells bad news for the rest of the field as he's quickly pulled his second over everybody. Uh-oh. Arturo Mayorga, Peter Rettinger, both off track, I think, together. Let's see what happens, starting with Rettinger. Oh, just rear ends Mayorga. Mayorga, nothing you can do against that one. But Mayorga is going to try and limp it around the circuit into pit road. There's 2 teammates, Delmas and Zanave, running 9th and 10th. Shazi Zuhair, Craig Brick, just behind of Zanave's number 12. Unfortunately, Arturo Mayorga has to take a tow back to pit road, so he'll be retired from this feature. That's going to leave just 17 drivers. No, excuse me. 19 drivers still out on track. Shazi Zuhair is going to come down pit road. We saw that from him a bunch last season, going for the undercut compared to the rest of the field, an early pit stop. Nick Peterson has company from Kyle Deckard in tow. We had a report that Brian Dawson had some sort of issue in the number 89, but he remains out on circuit. Callaway set the fastest lap of the race on 122.71. Callaway got down to low 121s in the sprint, so I would not be surprised to see a high 120 in the feature as the tires start to wear in and the fuel tank starts to get a little bit progressively lighter lap by lap. Peterson and Deckard start to go side by side here in the battle for 6th. Deckard trying to make that move against Peterson, but Peterson so far able to keep that number 53 at bay. Callaway continues the charge up front on 122.411. Chase Meyer comes down pit road. Not sure if that's going to be for a pit stop or if Meyer is too sick to continue in the number 20. See if Meyer gets back out on track. Yes, he is. So Meyer will continue the charge here. Looks like pit times to take tires are going to be between 7 and 7.5 seconds here. Total pit lane time from entry to exit cones right at about 31, 32 seconds for these drivers. Callaway up front, Aguilar second, Conti in that final podium spot being chased by Fairchild. Peterson's been able to fend off Kyle Deckard here. If we go back to Xavier Zanave, sitting in 10th, he has Craig Brick keeping the pressure up in that number 7 Inca Salsa backed machine. Inca Salsa came on board as the title sponsor here of Season 10 for the League Zero Super Formula Series. So interesting. Callaway got down to a 121.75, but it was not clean. He had at least one off track. So that's going to be Aguilar with a 122.31, a clean 122. as we watch Kyle Decker take over the 6th place spot from Peterson. You go a little bit further back, you've got Matt Foster and Matthew Balcells battling for 14th, separated by about 0.3 of a second. Both Foster and Balcells both up 4 positions. Hard charger out on track, though, is again Leo Delmas, the 21, is up 12 spots so far this evening. Balcells looking for any spot he can against Foster. Right off the back of that 32 machine. It's going to be a big send at the inside line from Balcells. Not quite able to make it happen. Foster pushes a little bit wide there. And Balcells, that's going to be his 5th spot gained in the 52. Working his way into the top 14. Callaway last time by got down to a 121.77. Did so clean. His teammate Aguilar in 2nd. Also in the 121s at this point. On board with Craig Brick. Tucked in behind Carl Hartwell. And what will be the battle for 9th. Just about 4/10 separating these two drivers. Loving the onboards here, showing how fast Brick and Hartwell are moving just inside the top 10 and how quickly the landscape changes here at Barcelona as these drivers flick these Super Formula machines around the circuit. I've got to say, one of my favorite views in broadcasting is the onboard with the Super Formula drivers because they are absolutely ripping here. Think I might have saw a tiny bit of a lock up there from Hartwell, but doesn't lose any time to Brick, still holding about a 4/10 advantage. Callaway up front, getting lower and lower to those 1:21 lap times. Leo Delmas comes down pit road. That's going to put Hartwell and Brick up a couple of spots here. And here we go, side by side. Brick's going to make a move. Looks like Hartwell doesn't want to battle it too intently here. Opted to try and keep that car safe as Brick moves up into 8th. Hartwell falls back to 9th. Well, I'm wondering if Callaway, who already has a 3-second advantage over the rest of the field, can make it back-to-back in the features here. It's going to be a fair while before he runs into traffic. Now, Brian Dawson did have an off-track. And that was Callaway, who just went by, seeing his life flash before him. Dawson was able to get off track at the right time there in the number 89. Let's see what happened to Dawson to cause that incident. Dawson, I believe, a newcomer here. I think might have grabbed too many downshifts, upset the car, and sent it sliding around. As everybody out on track is fairly well separated, except for Brick and Hartwell, 8th and 9th. They're separated by about 0.7 of a second. So now, everybody out on track is separated by more than a second at this point. Espino saying Brick His new nickname might be Overtake. Now Kyle Deckard, so things are starting to tighten up a little bit. Deckard has made a move against Bianchi. Bianchi had an off track, and now that's going to put Peterson in tow behind his teammate as well. So expect to maybe see the two Avanti drivers working together here to catch back up to Deckard, who's on the push to pass trying to break away. Now this is interesting. Eric Fox, aka Urko, letting us know the timing might be off in the race as the sun is starting to set here at Barcelona. We haven't seen that before, as these super formulas, for the attentive fans, will notice that there are no headlights. So it is going to be a race to darkness. As you can see, the shadows getting a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I don't see enough lighting here to fully cover the course. Let's see if we can get a wider angle, I wonder. And Eric Fox confirming no lights around the track. The racing might be quite lit, but the track will not be, as we still have a whole lot of laps here. 17 laps to make it through. I wonder if we're going to get a red flag situation here if it gets too dark to continue. We haven't seen that yet here at League Zero. What I imagine would happen, and I have absolutely nothing to base this off of, but if race control is looking and deems it too dark to continue, I believe they would probably throw a competition caution and bring the field down pit road and record the finish as such. Ray Aguilar in second, getting chased down by Elliot Cotti within 9/10 of a second between second and third. Looks like Aguilar building some pace back up to his momentum as we keep an eye on the sunshine outside the broadcast booth. You can definitely notice it getting a little bit darker here. Let's go on board with Antonio Bianchi. Still a fair amount of daylight out. We're not quite to the halfway mark, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. The shadows getting longer and longer here. Bianchi trying to track down Deckard, that number 53 machine. So I think we might be okay here with the sun, at least so far. And we still have battles all across track. Balcells trying to track down Oliveira Bastos in the battle for 12th. Has a big run here against the 41 machine. Oliveira Bastos trying to guard the inside line, making Balcells go the long way around. Galloway, a 121.468, continuing to find more time. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the sunset here. Definitely not an eclipse. That was a few weeks ago. As we've got a couple of more laps to go before the halfway mark. I will say, though, with the potential of this track getting dark and being red flagged, I wonder if that's going to change the strategy for some of these drivers, opting not to come down pit road. Now, Again, there's a mandatory tire rule. You have to come down pit road and grab a set of tires, but I can't imagine anybody would be DQ'd for not grabbing tires in the case of a red flag. I guess at least it's not raining, too. So a lot of maybes here at this season opener. The League Zero Inca Salsa Formula Series and a whole lot of unknowns. There's Leo Delmas catching up to this battle for 12th as well, trying to interrupt the party between Oliveira Bastos and Balcells. Fairchild comes down pit road for his one scheduled stop of the race. So Fairchild on this pit stop is going to fall back to, I believe, about 12th place as he rolls back out on track. There goes Balcells, Delmas, Oliveira Bastos down pit road. Everybody in the side, the top 10 has yet to box here. Now Leo Delmas on the throttle. The number 21 pulls up against Balcells in the battle for 12th. Delmas makes quick work there. Now Delmas came down pit road on lap 6. So already took his mandatory tires, and he's good to run this thing out till the end, whenever that may be at this point. Now we pan back to Jaden Calloway, already in a different zip code as he has displayed the cross green and white flags, the halfway mark of this feature event. He is over 6 seconds up over the rest of the field. Kyle Decker, the number 53, is going to come down pit road for his one mandatory stop. Nick Peterson sitting in 5th now. The number 24 clicks off his fastest lap of the race on 122.38. Now, last time by, Callaway did show a 121.32, but he had at least one off-track, invalidating the lap times. And here comes Elliott making his way around Ray Aguilar. I don't want to jinx myself with the commentator's curse, but I think we're looking good on Sunshine here. It is showing 9 p.m. in Sim. I don't know what time the sun normally sets in Barcelona as Aguilar comes down pit road. So we're going to keep that up on the right side of your screen so we can all follow along with bated breath here. Callaway stays out, as well as Cotti. Bianchi, Peterson, and Brick move up into the top 5. We've got a little bit shy of 20 minutes left to go. And for the astute fans out there, those seconds look to be at double time on the right side of the screen. So it is a race against each other, a race against the track, as well as a race against Mother Nature here at the League Zero Inca Salsa Formula Series, the first feature event of the season. Callaway, a clean 121.412, the fastest lap of the race. Elliott Conti sitting in second now. Got down to a 121.7, 0.3 off the pace of Callaway, but still absolutely ripping here at Barcelona. A little bit of traffic ahead for Callaway. That is going to be Oliveira Bastos running 14th and the 41. Oliveira Bastos still up 7 spots as well, having a great race. Brick, Hartwell, Iezzi all down pit road, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Oliveira Bastos seeing the blue flag, yielding the spot to Callaway, helping facilitate the way through for the race leader. As it is now 9:10 in sim here. And still 12 laps left to go in the first feature event of the season. I don't think we've ever had a red flag situation the last, I think it's been 3 years I've been calling it here at League Zero. I'm going to check on that as well, because that could be a fun tidbit for the fans at home. Well, I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, I have been calling League Zero events since August 5th of 2021. So quite a long time we've been calling the Open Wheel Pros here. Fairchild's going to make a lunge against Bianchi. Makes it stick. Got a little bit squirrely there. Callaway, a 121.36, continues to find time. Elliott Conti is going to come down pit road for his one scheduled stop. 10 laps left to go. I just heard somebody have problems. It was Kyle Deckard, who has a big off track here as he was tucked in behind. I think that was Bianchi. Leo Delmas is going to run upside. Oh, a big hit to the curbing there. There goes Leo Delmas ripping through. So Conti, his one scheduled stop of the night. That's going to put Peterson up into second. And to show how spread out things are up front, Conti only loses 1 spot to Peterson. And something terrible has happened to Ray Aguilar. As he's been in his pit stall for 4.5 minutes. So something... I'm not sure what happened to Aguilar. We're looking through the broadcast notes to see if we can find anything. The live timing, I should say. So at some point, Aguilar lost the front wing. Let's see if we can follow along a lap with Aguilar here. See where that wing might have went. Oh my goodness, he got tied up with traffic. Let's see if we can spot who that was tied up with that one. That was the 32 machine of Matt Foster. And Aguilar just obliterates the back of him there. So that is probably why we've seen the defending champ retire from this event. Callaway again, the fastest lap of the race, a 121.22. He wants to finish this thing up before it gets too dark. As you can definitely tell, It's getting a little bit darker here. You're on board with Callaway, who did indeed get into the 120s here at Barcelona. It is going to be a race against time. Now, oh my goodness, as we pan out, it's getting dark quick here. It's 9:20 in sim. It's Callaway and Peterson first and second, the only two drivers who have yet to box. Or are they waiting to see if there's a red flag? There's a little bit of lighting around the circuit, but not nearly enough to run a Super Formula round at pace. And we still have about 8 laps left to go, which is over 10 minutes. That's going to put us well past 9:30 p.m. in sim. And 3 years of calling the action here at League Zero. This is definitely a first that I've seen. And to their credit, the broadcast point of view with our software is going to be a little bit darker than what the drivers are seeing. Let's go back on board with Callaway. So it's going to be a little bit darker from what we are seeing right now on the broadcast versus what the drivers see behind the visor. And this has not put a damper on the racing. Shazi Zuhair has Craig Britt closing up behind. That's going to be the battle for 7th. Seven laps left to go. Can we make it before it is too dark to continue here? Rick trying to draft up behind Zuhair in the battle for 7th. As you can see, the trackside lights coming on, trying to help illuminate it for these drivers. Callaway starts the 22nd lap here. I don't think we're going to make it with 6 laps left to go. Now, you do have race control out on track, so they'll know what the drivers are facing here. But it is pretty dark out on track for these drivers. You're on board with Craig Brick, the number 7 machine. Jaden Callaway up front, a 26-second gap over the rest of the field. My goodness, it's dark. So Eric Fox, aka Urko, giving us the inside scoop right now. The plan is to run this thing out. So appreciate the inside scoop from Urko. Unfortunately, Eric Fox was involved in a lap 1 incident. Jaden Callaway, your race leader, is down pit road for his 1 stop. 5 laps left to go. And it is safe to say that the lights are off here at Barcelona. Callaway down pit road is able to pit and holds on to the race lead here. as Nick Peterson right in tow. It is now 9:30 in sim. I saw somebody pulling over there to make way for Callaway and Peterson. Got the inside scoop. The drivers that are out on track on voice comms with each other are confirming it is getting very dark very quickly as Callaway narrowly avoids missing a corner there. Callaway pulls over, allows Peterson by. There's Zanave and Meyer linked up for 11th. I think we're quickly going to see who has endurance and night driving experience, but with no headlights, this has got to be tough for the drivers, and that's going to put Peterson out up front. Now, plenty of light here in the start-finish line, but let's see him dive into turn 1. I mean, I think I'm qualified to say it's pretty darn dark out there for these drivers. I think Peterson's going to try and extend this out as long as he can, hoping for a red flag. As Callaway at least has a little bit of a reference mark tucked in behind Peterson here. You're on board Callaway. My goodness. I mean, these guys can't see anything, it looks like. Allstell's getting some love from the fans as he has moved up into the 14th place spot, up 5 spots in the dark. Meyer and Zanave side by side. Yeah, if you're just joining in, it is now 9:33 in sim. And from up here in the booth, we can barely see the glow of the halos. Peterson is out front, Callaway's in second, Elliott Conti in third, but there has been a miscalculation, I think, with the start time of this race. We're going to pan back up to Peterson and Callaway, who are somehow going to have a battle for the lead. 3 laps left to go. I don't see how they're going to continue at this point. But we've seen drivers short on fuel. We've never seen them short on light. But hey, it's the League Zero Inca Salsa Super Formula Series, and it's guaranteed to get a little bit spicy up here as Peterson and Callaway are approaching lap traffic. That's going to be Oliviera Bastos, who's trying to hop out of the way, but these guys can't really see where they're going at this point. I think Callaway is just tucked in behind Peterson to have a reference around the circuit. And it's interesting, Elliott Conti not having problems, the number 23. He's actually closing to the race leaders and running over a second faster a lap. But, I mean, from up here in the booth, I can't see anything. You can also tell which drivers have been utilizing our new sponsor, Get Good Racing, in the driving coaching. I don't think Callaway wants to lead. He pulls up alongside Peterson, makes a pass for the lead, but I think the only reason you would want to be in front at this point is accounting for a red flag. We've got 2 laps left to go, and it is dark. On board with Peterson in second place. I mean, major props to these drivers, able to still somehow feel their way around the race course. My goodness, I've never seen such a thing. And I'm starting to see the top 3 drivers trigger the off-track lights a little bit more. Peterson's down pit road for his one and only stop. At least he's got a little bit of lights down there on pit road. That's going to put Elliott Cotti up into second. Let's see, can Fairchild close and work his way up into third? Because I'll be honest with the fans out at home, Fairchild does move up into third. I am having to primarily call this race off the live timing screen that I have here in the broadcast booth. That is just about impossible to see anything for me up here. Fairchild on the push to pass. He's about 1.3 seconds up over Antonio Bianchi. White flag will come out next time by for Jaden Calloway in one of the most unique League Zero races I've ever called. At least when drivers on the push to pass, they have a flashing red light ahead of them to see the driver in front. Other than that, there's not a lot of reference points to be found here. Calloway still up front. Cotti second. Fairchild in third. Bianchi and Delmas round out the top 5. Tip of the hat there to Delmas as well. Up 15 spots. And look at Calloway. The absolute mad lad in the dark. Leading up to the white flag. Sets the fastest lap of the race on 120.84. Calloway driving by muscle memory at this point. And man, good luck to the drivers out on track that are running the same graphic settings that we are up here in the broadcast booth. Fairchild to do everything he can to fend off Antonio Bianchi and what's going to be the battle for the final podium spot. Bianchi has a bit of an off track there. Can't believe the mercy rule wasn't put into effect as Calloway's on the back half of the racetrack. Fairchild running out of push to pass. You can see the light blinking on the halo. Bianchi's going to try and close and make something happen here on the last lap. Everybody getting off tracks, trying to feel their way around the circuit, but the checkered flag is out. And Jaden Calloway picks up the win here. Back-to-back season opener at Barcelona. Elliott Cotti is going to get second. And let's see, Michael Fairchild, he's somewhere out there. We can't really see him. Can he get third? And Bianchi's on the gas behind him with a push to pass. Fairchild locks up third ahead of Bianchi. Somewhere out there is Jaden Calloway doing burnouts. We can see the halo, and that's about it. And let the record show the last lap, under pitch black conditions, Calloway set the fastest lap of the race on 120.55. Definitely in 3 years, just about 3 years, probably the most interesting League Zero finish I think I've ever seen. We're waiting on Elliott Cotti to make his way up here into victory lane. And it looks like we've got everybody, so we'll start things off with Michael Fairchild in the 88. Woo! Mike, I know you've got endurance experience. How did that help you out in the closing laps?
That was endurance for sure, yeah. Especially with the night race without headlights. Long race, 28 laps. So that felt like forever. And with Antonio coming down on me. Yeah, that was a tough, sweaty one.
Now, were you thinking that the race was going to get red flagged with how exciting the conditions were getting?
I was wondering, like, should we like stop after a certain amount of time, like make everyone pit, and then go like 3 more laps to establish positions? Because Zuhair, my teammate, pitted early, so that wouldn't have been fair to just red flag it as it was.
Yeah, I agree. So that was going to be a tough spot. Thankfully, everybody was to get through there. But, I mean, how are you able to feel your way around the track at that point?
You really, towards the end, it was like muscle memory. You can barely see the curbs, so you knew where you were on the track. You just go by your revs, your shifting. You're like, okay, I got to brake here. Your muscle and your legs. I got to brake this hard, but you really couldn't see the gravel and the on some of those longer, faster turns. So I did touch the gravel a few times. That kind of got scary.
Well, we were terrified up here in the booth too, Mike. So glad you're able to pull it home. A strong first podium of this season. Before I let you go and unwind from this one, go turn on around some lights around the house to feel more comfortable. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helps put you up here in the top 3?
For sure, Sajay Zuhair, my teammate, he taught me how to launch this car properly for once, and I got an awesome launch at the start of this race. And then Inca Salsa for sponsoring this season.
Awesome, Mike. A pleasure having you back up here. First time this season. Hopefully one of many more to come, and congratulations on 3rd here.
Thanks, bud.
That was Michael Fairchild bringing it home. And 3rd, up next, Elliot Conti joining us in the number 23 machine. Elliot, it was darker on track than it is in your home country at this point by the end of this thing.
Yeah, I couldn't see a thing at the end. Ooh, I was just aiming at the curbs, but then right at the end, couldn't even see the curbs. I was just driving like off instinct.
Now, I know a lot of the drivers here have endurance backgrounds on iRacing. Do you have experience with night driving?
I've done about 1 race, I think, night driving, and that's it.
Well, it seemed like it worked out well for you. This is quite the introduction to it. I mean, Super Formula is very fast, high-strung race cars, very technical track at times, and then nothing to get your way around. What was the trick to surviving those last few laps?
Luck, pretty much. It needs headlights, this car.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying for years. We can open up something new here in the Super Formulas. But, Elliot, you've got to be happy. A great result all the way around tonight. Strong finishes and a strong points number 23. I don't think you can ask for anything more.
No, I mean, I feel bad for Ray. He's got done over by 2 back markers and 2 races. So, yeah, but happy with P2.
Well, good to have you back up here, buddy. Before I let you go and unwind and maybe go to bed because it's a super late night for you, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen?
Oh, Salvador, of course.
We love Salvador.
Hero. We do. We love Salvador.
Oh, awesome. Elliot, always a pleasure talking to you, man. Congratulations on 2nd. A great night all the way around, and hope to have you back up here next week.
All right, yeah, cheers.
Thank you, sir. That was Elliot bringing it home in 2nd, but up next, back-to-back, starting the season off strong. Welcome back, Jaden Calloway, and one of the wildest races I've ever called here at League Zero.
Yeah, I guess we can all say we've done a nighttime race in the SF now, so that was a wild one, but I'm happy with it. It was fun.
I mean, able to bring it home nice and clean. We've asked the other podium contenders how they're able to survive. What was your trick to get around Barcelona? Still at pace with the fastest lap of the race on the final lap.
It was literally just like following every single marker that you could see. Half of the track was like pitch black, and other parts you could only see like one little part. So you just had to rely on muscle memory and hope you don't go off.
Now, Jane, do you have an endurance or night driving background at all?
Not really. I do endurance races every now and then, but I don't spend a lot of time driving at nighttime.
Well, it was tough for me up here in the booth, and we did some onboards with you guys to show how treacherous things were out there. I mean, you had a comfortable 8-second lead over Elliott after Ray's misfortune, but were you worried about backing down too much at all? Because, I mean, obviously, the fastest lap of the race at night is quite a feat.
They were telling me to back off and that I should just chill, and I kind of did, but at the same time, I wanted to send it just to see what would happen. But, yeah, I got away with it, so I'm happy.
Well, it's super cool to have you back up here, starting the season off strong at 37, back-to-back wins to start things off. I'm pumped for you. That was one of the wildest races I've called. And Jaden, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped you bring home the first ever League Zero night race?
I'm gonna shout out my team, Squid Gang Racing, and I'm gonna shout out Fabian and Ray. Ray got unlucky with some lap traffic tonight, but he still did a great job, so I'm gonna shout out him.
Awesome. Jaden, always a pleasure, bud. Congratulations on the back-to-back, and hopefully we'll have you up here next week as well.
Yeah, I hope to be back.
That was Jaden Calloway bringing it home back-to-back. Let's get a different angle here real quickly before we do some sign-offs. So this is what Calloway saw at the end of this thing here at League Zero. Pitch black racing conditions. He was accompanied by Elliot Cotti in second and Michael Fairchild starting the season off strong with third. On behalf of Inca Salsa, get good driving, as well as MSR Performance. My name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for joining us this season opener here at League Zero, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everybody.